Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video and welcome if you're new. My name is Chris. I'm a musician and audio engineer. And in this video, we'll be taking a look at something different. Normally, I do reactions on this channel or I do guitar covers or something like that. However, we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit different. We're going to be talking about Nintendo and their Nintendo Switch 2 because they've been getting a lot of heat recently online. I've been seeing a lot of videos from shorts to long form videos, basically saying Nintendo is doing anti consumer practices or whatnot. And a lot of this controversy is due to game key cards. Now, essentially, game key cards they're basically like game cards you would insert into your Nintendo Switch 2. But instead of having the actual data on the card, it will just essentially act as a device key to activate the license to use the game. Now, I find it really interesting that some of this stuff is getting so much hate online. Honestly, it's kind of laughable. Honestly, I don't mean to put it this way, but it kind of honestly is. I know this may be probably the most controversial video I have on the channel, honestly, but some of this stuff is just common sense, honestly. But we'll get into that in a sec. But yeah, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I normally do music stuff, but we're going to be exploring a little bit on different things. We're going to do some gaming stuff from like Nintendo to PlayStation, Xbox. We'll even do some other stuff from some random political stuff to just random things I think are interesting. We'll just talk about a lot of different stuff on the channel because I do want to be more active, but I also don't want to necessarily just limit my channel to music, although that's what a big portion of it has been. But yeah, even if it's just like discussion videos like this. So yeah, but yeah, feel free to subscribe if you want. But yeah, anyway, so the big deal seems to be about game key cards. Now, it's really interesting because some of the critiques of it are that you don't own the game, that you're essentially getting a license to play the game or a license to use the Nintendo Switch in certain ways. And they're like, well, if we're paying money, why are we getting a license? And that's it's really quite obvious. It's to stop piracy. That's why, like 20 years ago with the GameCube, they made smaller discs to mitigate that. That's also why they did that with the Nintendo 64, and they just kind of kept their stumbled their feet on certain things to basically mitigate having to deal with piracy and people playing their games illegally. Now, if any of you guys are in the tech field, or if you're an audio engineer, or you use different programs, you'll also know that there are programs where you are essentially gaining a license to use the actual product, whether that's a video editor, a audio editor, uh, or whatnot. So, but these things have been in place for over a decade. So it's just kind of weird when I see so much fan backlash, or just backlash in general, when these things have been going on for like over a decade for now. Um, Now, some could be like, but when you buy a physical copy of something, you want a physical copy, and it's understandable. Like, I mean, um, it's definitely understandable, but um, the world has just been heading digital for like decades by now. Um, like the trends are showing that most things are going digital. One was music, but not just that, but even games. Games have been going digital for a long time, with computer games to even trends with the console gaming market from like Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. It's all been going that way, and even Microsoft even pushed it more to go that way with services like Game Pass and other stuff. So it's just really weird when I see so much backlash over this when this stuff has been in action for literal decades at this point. Um, but yeah, aside from that, like there are like concerns of that, like maybe 10 years from now, the eShop will be closed down and I won't have access to the game that I bought. Well, to an extent, maybe, but at the same time, many things are done licensed anyway. An example is recently, well, not really recent, but a few years ago, the Metal Gear Solid collection was removed online from, I believe, Steam and also like the other stores that was online, and it was removed due to certain clips in the games that had that were licensed to Konami to use. And so because those licenses expired, they had to remove them. And I guess they either put some they got the licenses to use them again, or they edited them, or they just removed them out and put new stuff up there in general. But essentially it had to be removed due to licenses. And but most people are like, I want to make sure I have what I purchase. I don't want, like, if something like that happens, I don't want to like deal with that. And it's really understandable. But if you have your stuff downloaded onto whatever your device you have, um, that's less likely to happen, because even if it does happen, you will still have your stuff on your storage device, whether that's your console or your computer or whatever. Um, yeah, so it's just, and also another thing. Uh, let's say 10 years from now. I know a lot of collectors definitely want to have physical stuff, and I also do want to have physical stuff. But when you, let's say 10 years from now, will you still even want to play those same exact games you have? Because as time goes on, like people change, and also not just that, but uh, markets change. So collectors will obviously know that, like, oh, well, this is just how the life cycle of this product has run its course, and you just can't use it anymore. For lots of software that aren't video games, sometimes that does happen. You pay money for something, and then after a certain period of time, it just it's no longer in use. And if there is a connection with their servers or whatnot, the product can be rendered unusable. But that's also just how certain things are nowadays. It's how it's been, and it's how it's going, and it's not much that can be done to stop what's been going on when you have had for like decades conditioning of going digital from like Apple with their iTunes and stuff, and then you have like just Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, other movie viewing services, other companies like Microsoft also pushing that, or Sony, and now Nintendo's jumping on, but they're getting a lot of hate for it. But it's kind of funny when I see that, when I look around and I see people boycotting Nintendo for that, when literally every other company, massive company, whether that's Google, Microsoft, uh, Sony, Nintendo, literally all of them have been doing this. Like like even your streaming service, like if you use Spotify or whatnot, whatever, they've all been doing this for like so long. And so when I see them like, this is the last straw, I'm going to boycott this. I'm like, really? You're really going to boycott when these billion-dollar companies don't even know you exist or care? Like, it's pretty funny. But yeah, I didn't mean to really make this a snarky video because I do understand both sides, but at the same time, uh, anti-piracy measures should be used, and like they absolutely should be used. Like if I had a network or ecosystem that I had created, and if others wanted to be a part of it, they would have to follow the rules, or they get kicked out, or they just can't use it. Whether that is breaking your system or just removing you from the platform, then that's just how it is. Like, but yeah. Also, some interesting stuff about the $80 games that so many gamers are upset about. It's pretty funny. Like they're like, Nintendo released a $80 game. Like, how dare they? When literally all of their games are $60 except for one. $60 or less except for one, which was Tears of the Kingdom. And then you hear like blame like, because Nintendo raised their price, Microsoft raised their price also. And that's not necessarily how it works. For really big major changes to go on in companies, there's talks for a long time. Like there's talks for a while. Things don't just happen overnight. Although like it was pretty short after the announcement of that, but even with that, corporations take a long time to make decisions. So Microsoft was already going to raise their prices on all of their games and stuff anyway. So it's not like it's solely Nintendo's fault for that. But yeah. So yeah, this is going to be a really fun video. I know I'm going to be called a Nintendo shill in this, but it's just really interesting, to be honest. But yeah, my most controversial video. Let's see how this goes. Anyway, if you guys like the video, hit the like button. I will be doing some game reviews later this year, along with some other interesting stuff that I find interesting. But hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next time, and later, guys.